Hi, I'm Jessica Boulton, and this is Jess Saying. I'm here this week with two guests from Hollyoaks. It's been a huge week on the soap with the big reveal of the whodunit for who killed George Kiss. Now, all you Hollyoaks fans out there last night, if you're watching on E4, you will now know because it was revealed. If you watch it on Channel 4, turn off and watch this after tonight. Otherwise, you'll have it completely ruined. Spoiler alert. But in the meantime, let me welcome Jorgie Porter and Annie Wallace.
Yay! Hi!
Hello.
Hi,
Good morning.
Thank you both for joining me this morning. And it's been a big week on the soap, hasn't it?
Huge for us. Huge for the McQueen.
God.
Great, isn't it, Annie? And we've had the best time.
It has been. It's been really hard work. There's been a lot of standing around in car parks, which you've yet to see. But yes, it's been very hard work. But it's been very enjoyable. There's been lots of laughing.
We did it there.
It's quite vicious, that photo, isn't it?
Excellent shot, yeah.
That is a good. It looks like you've got some really good sort of venom going there, Annie. For anyone. Just to recap here, obviously George Kiss was murdered. John Paul went to jail for it, and then it was revealed last night, if you watch on E4, that the murderer was not the prime suspect, Teresa, that we thought, but it was in fact Sally Sinclair. Who was protecting Teresa, of course, and hit him with a bookend, which looked quite vicious indeed.
The bookend, I may add, was like a little sexy man, like in the thinking pose, which I thought was pretty cool. That's how that ended.
I did like that. We got a message here, Rachel Rogers, just saying, absolutely love you guys. So,
great.
Thank you, Rachel.
So what's it like when you're involved in a whodunit like this? Is it difficult to keep the secret?
I would say, because I've been in a whodunit before, and we didn't know who done it that time when Teresa killed Calvin. This time round, we kind of had a clue who done it. So it's a bit like when you're acting, you kind of still have to pretend that you might have done it. So you really have to think about faces and stuff to be like, am I suspicious? Am I not? But then obviously when we found out that Sally had done it, it was quite exciting because obviously she's not the type of person to ever kill anyone before.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the most devious thing Sally's done so far. So you get to have a bit of an evil, murderous streak, which is, to be fair, I think the rest of the McQueens have all killed somebody at some point, haven't they?
Well, but it's really interesting, obviously, because it's a spur of the moment thing. Things will be explained as things go on, and certainly as you watch the episodes this week, I think Sally explains how it happened and why it happened, and then we go into it more, obviously. But she's not a murderer.
No.
She's done it to protect Teresa because she genuinely believes that George was about to hit Teresa in the same way that he had been hitting her son, and she couldn't tolerate that, and it was literally a red mist quick thing, and now it's going to have this massive impact on her. It
was a good twist, which you didn't see coming. I knew before I watched it. Unfortunately, I wish I hadn't. I've been told, given it away. So Millie Nosh here says, "You guys did such an amazing job. Great acting, so it's lovely."
Thanks.
Cheers.
And now, is there sort of rivalry on the set about who gets the big storylines? Is everybody, okay, I want to be the killer, I want to have this because it's going to be such a great storyline?
I think sometimes we're a bit worried, aren't we, if we're like a killer as what the comeuppance sort of is. But I also think we're all pretty good. We all pretty cheer each other on. We're quite supportive, really, aren't we? And I think we just enjoy being involved in the storyline, if anything.
And it's obviously not something that I've been involved in. Most of what I've been doing was chasing after Myra originally. That was the original thing. And then, you know, getting involved at the school with Sienna and Laurie, you know, remember the terrible deputy head teacher that she's really, you know, she can't judge people at all, can she? She thought that Laurie was a lovely, you know, sexy man for the school, and he turned out to be this revolting sex pest. And then we've got lovely George, who is, you know, tall, Scottish, gorgeous guy, and turns out to be an abuser. So yes, she's not very good. She's not very good. But I think for me, it's been very exciting to be part of this story, and especially going forward, because, you know, it doesn't stop here. It doesn't have to say, it doesn't stop at this point. It's now about what Sally has to go through, and that to me as an actor was a very exciting prospect, because it's not a journey that Sally's been on before. You get a chance to do stuff you've not done before, and show emotions you've not shown, and it's exciting to be a part of something big, and it's been a terrible secret to keep. And now I don't have to, and I'm very pleased.
I bet it was. Do you tell anybody? Like, do you tell like your boyfriend, Jorgie, or do you tell anyone?
Do you know, my mum literally phoned me in the car before, and she was like, "George, what? You didn't tell me that, like, you were a suspect or you were, like, going to be a murderer." Because I literally do not tell anyone, because I'm like, Mum, it's a contract. Like, I literally could get arrested. Like, I take it very far. Like, I don't even tell my family and people. And I quite like the surprise that they find out that, like, what I've been up to, we watch on telly.
The reaction that everybody else has.
Yeah.
We got a message here. Vicky Vincent, currently catching up on Hollyoaks now. The storyline's been acted out brilliantly. Can't stand that police officer.
Yay, Vicky.
Yay, we can't stand him either. No, it's obviously part of a serious storyline as well. I mean, there's a serious message behind it, because it's all about coercive control. And we've spoken to James, who plays John Paul, about this as well. And is that important to you? Because Hollyoaks obviously does so many great storylines on lots of different issues, and we've talked before about some of the great things that, you know, have come from it. What's been the response to coercive control? Have you had a lot of people, you know, sort of say to the soap that, you know, they've recognised these kind of signs in their relationships?
There has been a great response to it, and obviously it's been for Callum and James, George and John Paul to play out, and also in connection with the support group Survivors, who've been very helpful, I believe. It's a major thing to talk about, because between two young, healthy gay men, it's taking it in a different direction than the usual thing, and the usual thing, of course, it would be male against female violence, and I think it shows that it can, in any relationship, it can happen, and highlighting that and highlighting the signs of it, so that maybe people can see the signs within their own relationships. And if it gets people thinking, and if it saves some people from going through that agony, then it's a worthwhile thing to do. And so it's one thing soaps are brilliant at, is addressing social issues that often aren't spoken about openly, and can be spoken about through the medium of television, and it gets people talking. And although, you know, soaps aren't going to change the world in a massive way, you know, we're not negotiating nuclear disarmament treaties. We can help people with the issues that are difficult to talk about, and that's what soaps do best.
Exactly. It just gets people talking, and there might be someone watching who then realizes, okay, these were things I thought in the relationship weren't great, but didn't realize that these were signs of something else, you know, because it is the coercive control bit is, you know, that it's like the gaslighting, as they say, and isolating from the family, and it's all these sort of subtle things that perhaps people might not even realize is as unhealthy as it is until they see it on screen. And
it can be very subtle, and that's the thing. And obviously soap, everything gets amplified a bit, but the gaslighting, I think this new word that's been used a lot is very important. And we showed that he had, you know, George had John Paul thinking that, you know, he was, did I say that? Did I do that? He was actually making him question his own sanity. Because part of it is, you never said that, you never did that, and it is nonsense. but it's a very nasty control mechanism. It's used on social media a lot as well. So this is not just, this is not just within relationships. This is a problem that's going around at the moment, that people's legitimate concerns about issues are being dismissed or belittled by people with an agenda. And as you say quite rightly, there's a very good chance that this will help some people, and that's so important to us.
Exactly, it must be. So it's and we just got a message here, Steffi Mason. The officer drove me up the wall, and I'm glad he's gone. And well done, ladies, for your brilliant acting.
Cheers, Steffi.
And we got another one back from Millie. I realised how much it made sense that Teresa and Sally knew so well John Paul was innocent, but I didn't suspect Teresa to be involved at all. So you got such an innocent face, Jorgie. That's why. It's like, I mean, the police officers in Hollyoaks actually haven't fared very well over the years, because you've got,
aren't they? They're generally quite corrupt.
Recruitment is not very good at it.
He was evil. So in terms of the big storylines that you've done, Jorgie, with the kind of issue thing, so what we talked about, the coercive control with this one, what are the ones that you really sort of feel very passionate and proud of? Because you've obviously had so many years of great storylines with Teresa.
Yeah, I've been very lucky that Teresa's got to do so many great things, like from huge stunts, which hopefully they'll come back when COVID's really calmed down, even to things like with killing Calvin. She sort of shot a guy on his wedding day because he was cheating with all her cousins, and so she just, she was like, I'm not having this. She's quite she defends her family quite a lot to the extreme. So and also, having babies, she's had 2 babies with 2 different guys, and now they're like sort of nowhere to be seen. So yeah, she's been through quite a lot. And I feel like, sometimes there's a lot of girls that literally will slide in my DMs and be like, oh, I can relate to Teresa. And I think, how? Lashes, like, hopefully that's the maximum amount of
drama one person could ever have. You're like, I hope you're okay then if you can relate to Teresa.
Yeah. I even think like Teresa being in such a big, huge girl involved family, or like the biggest family ever, like sharing clothes and swapping stories and all that. There's a lot of things that people can relate to with Teresa, which I find like it's just great and fun to hear about.
And have you enjoyed being back, Jorgie? Because obviously back last year. We thought it was only for a short time, and now you're staying for longer, which is brilliant.
I literally forgot how great it was. Like, I went away to America, came back, did come down with me, and was like, why am I not here? Like, from the cleaners to the crew to the cast, everyone, I was like, this is a huge family. Like, I have missed people just being around so much and just being so friendly. So I'm so happy to be back. I love it more than ever, I think.
Yeah.
Was it quite a lonely experience when you went over to like Hollywood, because you're out there, you're on your own, you're kind of, you're being judged at every audition, and what's that like?
Yeah, I can safely say it was hard. Like, I just wanted to live in America as well and like tick that box. And I thought, well, Hollywood, why not go to the best of the best? Yeah. Why not do acting with American people and like do classes and do that kind of thing? And I thought, I loved it. I missed my family. I kind of missed home a lot. And I thought, you know what? It's one of the things I've ticked. I've done. I'll never be like, oh, I wonder what it's like. But I came back and I was lucky enough to just come back to the job that I love. Yeah. So, and I did miss everything from like, I miss events. I miss a red carpet. I'm not going to lie. I missed everything.
Everything about it. And Annie, you've had an amazing time since joining the soap, because originally you were a researcher on Corrie. Is that correct? That's correct, isn't it?
Not a researcher. I was an assistant to one of the researchers. So essentially, I was drafted in to help them with one storyline, which was the Roy and Hayley Cropper story of the late 90s. And I kind of helped the researcher and the storyliners and people like that. And so I wasn't salaried staff at all. I was an assistant, and I had a full-time job as a computer repair person, going around fixing computers and stuff whilst doing this fabulous thing with Coronation Street. So yeah, that's and it's what rekindled my my thoughts of becoming an actor again, which I'd put to bed nearly 20 years before. So being around Coronation Street rekindled that, because I love soaps, and I thought, gosh, is this even possible? So yeah.
and I mean, you've had an amazing reception since you did join, and you've won a number of awards, and like you've won quite a few sort of diversity awards, because you were the first transgender person playing a transgender role on a soap. Is that correct? If I got that
regularly, yes.
Yeah.
But there have been trans people in soaps, in smaller roles, in guest roles, that kind of thing. So I certainly wasn't the first, but I was the first regular person, the first person that they took on as a full-time character, which I'm very proud of, because it's actually it was actually a goal. I remember saying to my friend Julie, who played Hayley, I said, I'd love to be the first trans soap role and a role character, and I was always this kind of lost dream, thinking, oh, no chance of that, and then it kind of happened, and we were all very, very kind of cock a hoop about that. So yeah, it's been 5.5 years now, and still loving it, still having a fab time, and also for me the most important thing is that the fact that Sally is trans is actually, it's not the most important thing about her. It's there, and it occasionally gets spoken about and occasionally gets mentioned when it's appropriate to do so. But the rest of the time, she's John Paul's parent, and she's a head teacher in the school. And she's an integrated character. She's not an issue. And I wouldn't have wanted to be a single issue character either.
You see in a lot of situations, you do see it's just that you're in there, but that's the issue. Yeah. And then like it just feels so, whereas Hollyoaks very good at doing that, like, because all sorts of things. Yeah. Obviously, you got Courtney, and and it's not the storyline. I think Denise Welsh was saying the fact that she has a toy boy is not the storyline about her. That's not the whole thing. So it must be. I'm glad you're enjoying it there. And is it a good fun place? Like,
oh God, yes. Oh yeah, I mean that's the best thing about it. It's such a fun place to work.
Isn't it? It's too much fun. It's like not work. You're like, do I?
It's been difficult for the past year because we haven't had as much fun as usual.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of kept a bit separate, and we've not had any social events and things like that. So it's been quite tricky. But yes, there's been a lot of laughter, and for me, it's been lovely working with Jorgie, because. We kind of
That's in the post.
we didn't have any interaction originally because Jorgie left a few months after I joined, and we had nothing on screen at all. And then it was like she was coming back and we're going to be a part of this. And as will unfold, because of Teresa and Sally being the only people who were at the location of the murder, there's this kind of little pact, this little bond between the two of them that's grown, and you'll see more of that coming up in terms of where they go with this and how to handle it together. And we've had huge laughs, lots of laughs, and that's been a lot of fun, which has got us through the cold car parks.
I was going to say, there's a lot of, you're having to do a lot of special effects in order to get any of these things. So we've got a question here from Steffi Mason, which you sort of touched on already, but is there any more big dramatic storylines for you, ladies? Obviously, you're still in this one. So
yeah. Well, as I said, this is kind of the point at which it turns from being about John Paul and George to being about John Paul and Sally, and also big time with Sally, because it's not just about the repercussions, it's about what's going on in Sally's head, which is going to be something that she will carry with her for a very long time. So it's trust me, this isn't something that's going to be brushed under the carpet very quickly. I think you're going to enjoy seeing the word I'm looking for, I suppose, is the turmoil. The problems between reconciling herself as a good person and what she's done, and that to me is the next stage of where we go with this, and obviously the effect that has on John Paul, because can you imagine, he's now got to come to terms with the fact that the person he loved, even though he was being abused, he did love him.
Did love him.
The person he abused was taken away by his own parent, and it's like it's a very difficult thing to do. So yes, that's where we're going with that, and that's all I'm going to say about it, obviously. But the reason I'm saying it is it's very worth watching, and it's being written really well. So I'm very excited for people to see how that goes.
Yeah,
I think for Teresa, I sort of think she's just gonna maybe get to her old ways a little bit. Maybe there's a bit of a love interest. Who knows? That's all.
Oh, is there a new love interest coming up? Because we were talking about this before we go on, because you get some fantastic love interests on Hollyoaks all around. Like, I would love to be on that show, because honestly, there isn't anyone ugly in Hollyoaks.
Everyone's so fit. Yeah, it's like, I've got to kiss this city every day. Oh, yikes.
Oh, no.
Very pretty.
What's that like when you're I mean, I know it's a question you get asked all the time, but when you've got to act these things and you think, right, okay, I'm now in a relationship with so-and-so, have you ever had a point where you're like, I actually don't like them very much, this is going to be awful?
Yes. It's the weirdest thing ever, having to kiss someone like who you don't really know, or a stranger, and then make out as if you love them. And also when you've got like another half as well, it's kind of the weirdest situation in the world ever. Like, makes no sense, does it? But I think you're quite lucky, aren't you, really, at work and things. They don't cast ugly people.
You're all right. You're okay. And Annie, you haven't had many love interests so far. You have Myra, as we talked about, and obviously had that little flirtation with Nita. But who we were talking about this? Who would you like to see Sally Sinclair hooked up with?
Oh, it's crazy. I have no idea. But yes, we've seen her date women, but that doesn't mean to say it's exclusively. So who knows? I think what they need to do is they need to bring in someone. You know what? I'll tell you.
An American Hollywood person.
What's that?
An American Hollywood star. That's who we need, Annie.
Okay, that'd be nice. Yes. All right. Okay. I would like Sally to find her Roy Cropper. Someone who is absolutely devoted, maybe a little unusual, so it's not the typical kind of relationship, but someone that she can be really happy and secure with, because she's been alone for a long time. And I'm not saying put Sally with Roy Cropper. What I'm saying is, from Coronation Street, just for people who don't know. But that kind of person, somebody who maybe comes in and is a bit quiet and just strikes up this friendship with Sally, and it just kind of leads somewhere. I think that would be lovely, whether it's man or a woman. Not bothered, so long as it's a good actor that I can work well with and have lots of fun. And I'd love that.
This is like a dating website. Like, is anybody out there that fits?
I know. I like dancing. I'm going to the cinema, and I love cats.
And we got a message here from James Derbyshire, who says, Sally, your class, such a great advocate for the trans community, which is fantastic.
There we go.
I stole that one from your
Thank you, James. It's very kind to say that, and thank you, Linda, for mentioning that as well. It's great to get the feedback. I really love feedback, and I'll tell you what. There's a website that you can go on. I don't think it's a shame to mention it. It's called TweetDeck, and what it does is it allows you to watch Twitter kind of in real time.
Okay.
So I had that on last night when when I was watching it, and I was just watching all the messages, scrolling, and all the people going, "Oh my god!" So I was kind of watching TV and the laptop, and
you just go right.
Well, a video on my phone because I thought. I love watching the audience's reaction. I'm a theatre person at heart. I love theatre and I love working in theatre. I've not done it for a while, but with theatre you get an instant response from the audience, and that's the beauty of it. Television, you kind of have to wait and see what people think, but I think that Twitter is wonderful for that, because you literally get the responses immediately. So I was very happy. So if you're all out there in Twitter land, thank you for doing that, because it was very
like, on set, all you've got is the crew to like react. So you literally do something funny or do something bad, and you're waiting for the credits. You're like, yeah, no, oh, okay, okay, that didn't go well.
Yeah, because they can't react because they're doing their, doing their job of, yeah,
exactly. But we literally have a fantastic crew. The one thing that's brilliant about Hollyoaks, it used to be called Mercy Television, used to do Brookside and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of the people who work there have been there through the whole thing. They've been through Brookside, they've been through Grange Hill and everything, and because it's such a happy place to work and there's such a team effort and like a brotherhood, sisterhood thing going on, it's lovely to see the same faces every day. And they've had careers with this television company, churning out fabulous television over the years, and that's why it's a pleasure. You walk on the set in the morning and you go, oh, hi Chris, hi Andy, and everything. It's a lovely place to work, and I've worked in some really awful places, so it's an absolute joy to come into work and feel so happy of a day.
I would say that's so good. And going back to what I think it was James who put that message up, what he said about representing a community. What do you think about this issue of like people saying that it's wrong when it's a non-trans person playing a trans role, and obviously so many actors have won Oscars for this in the past, like for doing exactly the same thing. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's a difficult thing, and some people are very strongly one way, very strongly the other. I can't possibly criticize it for what happened in the past, because one of my best friends, Julie Hesbenhouse, played Haley for 16 years, not only brilliantly but incredibly successfully, and I felt that she represented Haley as a trans person brilliantly, and I can't possibly criticize that. But that's a different time. And she'd be the first one to say it was a different time, a different place. Trans actors weren't invited even to the audition room at the time. Times were different. It was 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's an up and coming cohort of trans people coming through drama schools, already having been out there. There's a lot of people out there actually auditioning now. And I think in terms of representation and just fairness, in terms of giving them the responsibility of taking on these roles in a wider public sphere is essential. But then you have the slightly blurred line, which is if most of the story that you're telling is before the trans person has transitioned, do you cast someone who is not trans at that point? And that's a debate to be had in a different method. From my point of view, I think the fact that we have people like Beth Black, Rebecca Root, Riley Carter, Ash Palmasiano on Emmerdale, Tyler Luke Cunningham on Casualty, and all these people are coming through, whereas 5 years ago, we didn't exist. Now we're being seen on television. People are actually going, these are great people and great characters, more importantly. And that is really important to me, because it's about fairness, equity, all the things I love.
I think as well, Annie, to add to that as well, I think it does go down to as well good actors and good actresses as well, and like being fair to see everyone, and then in the end it being a great actor, a great actress, which I think Annie, you are a great actress, and I think you deserve the part and things like that, and I think people deserve the roles when they're good at it. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's not a matter of casting someone just because they're trans or just because they're gay or something like that. John Paul, James that plays John Paul, he's played a gay character for years, and you could never say to him, "Oh, you've not got the right to play that character anymore." Of course not. No, he's wonderful in the role, wonderful. And so you get, as Jorgie said, it has to be the best person for the job, but at the same time, now. And this is the difference. Now, trans people are invited to the auditions. And prior to about 2013, they weren't even invited, because there was this assumption that there wasn't anyone there, or that they weren't invited for political reasons. Now, that barrier's gone. I keep hitting this microphone. The barrier's gone. And now, if it's a trans character, they will invite trans people to the auditions. And that, to me, is the biggest step of all. And we have to thank the Casting Directors Guild of Britain for kind of overall saying this is something we need to do. And Russell T Davies pushing that agenda with It's a Sin, by saying that he wanted gay actors to be playing those roles and how brilliant they were. So it's not a matter of, I believe that there is the perfect actor for a role, whether they be straight, gay, trans, bi, les, whatever. I believe that they're out there, and the willingness of casting directors to look a little bit further is so welcome, and it's timely.
And yeah, it's perfect. And exactly like Jorgie said, if you're a good actor, like it really, that's all that matters. Just
has to be.
Having, now talking of your co-stars, there was some happy news this morning from two of your previous co-stars with Daisy and Luke. Did you see that?
Yeah, congratulations. If you're watching, Daisy, and congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, oh, amazing. I'm so happy for her. Do you know what I love? When you like work with people in Hollyoaks, I'm going to say, because you've worked with them for so long, you see them every day, and then you see them like fall in love with people, and then they get married, and then they have, and you think, I remember when we used to cry in the changing room about boys, or like, you know, and you feel like you've been through the journey with them, and in the end, you're so happy, like excited for them that it's come this far. It's so happy. It's so nice to see. Yeah,
and we've got Jess Ellis, who played. She's now got engaged. So we still very much follow what our ex castmates do. We're all very pleased when things go well for them.
When things go well for them and stuff. And Jorgie, I have to ask you, because you have your lovely new guy or newish guy at home, Ollie. Yeah. I think you have a nice picture of Ollie to show, and you have a gorgeous little. Has this made you, does it ever make you a little bit broody when you hear about co-stars?
Yeah, I've never thought or imagined having babies before in my life, but meeting Ollie, I've literally been like, right, so what is our life plan? Not to scare him anyway, he's at work, thank God he's not watching this live. I just think I've never felt like this before, and I've joined the love club. I get it now when people start to like settle and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm so excited about future life. Yeah.
What was the moment when you knew? Because people say there's a moment, you know, is that true?
No, there actually is. Like, that's not even fake. Like, it literally like punched me in the face. Like, I was like, this is it. Nobody else matters. Like, guy wise, like, I'm not gonna go on 10 dates anymore. Like, I'm like this tunnel vision. Like, that's it. And it just goes ding. Yeah.
Did it help that it was like the lockdown and everything, and you were like together, or
and you couldn't go anywhere else, and you could only see one household? I didn't know.
You can only see me for the entire time.
Just you and you only. And you can only see me. I sound like a psycho.
Well, you've already got a dog, so that's the starting point, isn't it? So.
And my dog lady is obsessed with him, like is obsessed. So yeah, I think that's a good thing.
She approves as well.
Yeah, loves him. It's embarrassing. Yeah.
Good. Animals know. Our pets know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, what is it that makes it so magical?
I think I've grown up a lot, and I think we've both we realised what we want in life. He also has a son as well, which I never thought I'd ever get with someone who's got kids. And I just see him with his son, and he's just incredible. And literally, it gives you that thing in your stomach of, oh my God, he's a great dad. That's amazing. He's such a hard worker, and everything about him is just what I've ever wanted.
Oh, Jorgie, I'm so happy because you've been you've been through the mill and you've seen everything that can go wrong with a relationship you've seen on screen.
Yeah, I think that's what's funny as well, is like the kind of like the public has kind of followed my journey of my love journey, haven't they? Like, willing it or not willing it, it's just kind of, and I've kind of been honest and stuff. So I think it's nice that people have followed my journey, I suppose.
Yeah. And talking of love on-screen interests, we've got a little game to play. Teresa's had a few over the times. No judgment. No judgment. She's a McQueen after all. We got a little game of Teresa's former love interest and a bit of snog, marry, avoid. And I want to hear what both of you think of them. So a few lines up. Now, this one, obviously, we're talking about the character because we don't want to put Jorgie in a difficult position. I've
just found the man of my life.
Yes, exactly. She's just found the man of her life. So we're talking about characters only and Teresa. Snog, marry, avoid. And this is Kyle Ryder, Tony Hutchinson, obviously, and serial killer Will Savage.
Okay, so straight away, there's two murderers there, isn't there? There's a Will Savage murderer and Kyle Ryder. They're murderers. So I think I'd have to marry Tony because he's just wonderful. Snog Kyle because I didn't date him in real life. And avoid Will Savage to keep my relationship.
Keep your relationship. Sorry, Jorgie, I feel awful on that one. Right, next one.
Terrible game.
Next one.
She has so many. Right.
Seth Costello, Newt, and the horrible policeman double timer, Ethan.
So I think Seth, marry.
Yeah.
Avoid Ethan and snog Newt because he's got a lip piercing and Teresa loves that kind of weird things.
Okay, moving next one.
Oh my goodness.
I did the selection on this one, so
yes, I can see that.
So Teresa, being in a Teresa state right now, would be like snog, snog, snog. And I think that's the way that is.
And for anyone watching, that's Dodger, Calvin, and Joel, the hot.
Yeah. Oh, she's so naughty. She's been with everyone, hasn't she?
Jeez.
Ali, this is what you need to go and talk to the casting directors about because you haven't had enough love interests on the show.
I know. Right, okay, straight away. I only know their real names. What are their character names?
And Zach Loveday.
I think. Oh, it's weird because Kira's my best friend. Teresa would marry Steve, snog Zach, and avoid Patrick.
Yes, I think that's fair enough. I think I made it quite a hard one on Dodger and Calvin. You know, like
the top's off. Who can concentrate with that?
I know, it's a bit distracting, isn't it? Really,
it really is. That was a bit naughty of me.
Annie, why did you save me? Why did you not come in at that time?
I was watching. I was just looking.
I know. I was waiting for you. Both
I know.
of you.
Yeah, Sally, now because yes. Oh, remember she dated someone a couple of years ago, and then she died. So she literally had 2 dates with this one woman, and then she found her dead at the dog. So it's not going well for Sally on the love life, is it?
It's not going well. It's not going well.
We've got to get that fixed, I think. Hey, wouldn't that be lovely after this year of trials and tribulations is that she finds someone at the end of it?
No.
Happy ending, maybe for Christmas. Hey, I should suggest that, shouldn't I? Give Sally a partner before Christmas or for Christmas.
For Christmas. That's it. It's a little word, taking some muffins to script writers.
They're a sucker for a good coffee and a muffin, yes.
I love it. Well, thank you both so much for coming on. I really enjoyed chatting to you as always. And it's been absolutely lovely. It's a fantastic storyline. I've seen tonight's little sneak peek, and it's a great one. So looking forward to seeing the rest of it and where it goes. So thank you both. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Jorgie. All right. Bye.
Thank you, and thanks to everyone who watched as well.
Bye.
Bye.